Hey everyone, which will come first, a huge increase in the price of Bitcoin or a significant price correction in the price of Bitcoin? I want to walk through the likely, sort of the supporting facts of one versus the other and give you some things to think about on each. Good evening. Good. Okay, so let's walk through the best thesis about a huge price increase in the price of Bitcoin is made by Jack Mallers, Mallers, with the Jack Mallers Show on Monday of this past week. So you can see that on YouTube. I posted the link on YouTube on Monday night of this week, or I posted earlier today. I posted a link to that Jack Mallers Show on Apple Podcasts. So you can go get it from Monday on the YouTube link, or you can get it from the Apple Podcast link today. Jack Mallers makes the strongest case for the government of the United States about to print just a boatload of money as a necessity because they don't have a choice, and that's going to absolutely result in a significant price increase for things that humans cannot make out of thin air, like Bitcoin. So if you want to see the strongest case on that front, I'm not going to reiterate all the points that Jack Mallers makes because you can just go watch it yourself, and I thought it was really fantastic. And the episode is titled They're Saying the Quiet Part Out Loud. So that episode, The Quiet Part Out Loud, or Now They're Saying the Quiet Part Out Loud, or anyway, it has the words quiet part out loud in it. And that does the best job of making the case that the government is about to print just a ton of money and that they have no other way out of the massive debt spiral that they are in. So that, I think, is the high probability of the more than 70% probability that we see a huge price increase in the price of Bitcoin, because central banks around the world are cutting interest rates, meaning they're printing money, and the Federal Reserve is so far refusing to do that. There's a standoff between Jerome Powell and Donald Trump, with Jerome Powell trying to keep interest rates high, and Donald Trump and others trying to force him to lower them. And I will not go into all the politics of that. Again, you can watch the Jack Mallers podcast, and he does a really good job of laying all that out. Okay, on the flip side, the sort of pessimistic concerns that could lead to a bear market, meaning a down market, are probably best expressed by Saifedean Ammous, the author of the Bitcoin Standard. I posted a clip from him earlier this week, and I posted a full podcast interview with him today. So if you want to hear more of the bear case, meaning the pessimistic case, you can hear it from Saifedean Ammous, or I posted some of the links earlier this week to James Check, who goes by Checkmate, who is my favorite Bitcoin analyst, and he basically says, look, a ton of Bitcoin's being bought up by corporations, Bitcoin treasury companies they're called, and that's unarguably they're buying like a ton of Bitcoin, and that is creating a ton of demand, and part of that's the reason Bitcoin is holding above $100,000. But other indicators are that the demand that, retail, for example, retail investors, meaning average just people, the buzz is really low right now. Like the total number of search terms for the word Bitcoin is super low. The total number of people talking about Bitcoin is super low. The total amount of transactions on the Bitcoin network that indicate new users are joining and moving Bitcoin around is pretty low as compared to historical examples. Now, a lot of that is because people are just moving Bitcoin around on Coinbase or on River. But every time you move Bitcoin, for example, to Bitkey or off of Bitkey, you got to do that on the Bitcoin main chain. And those kind of transactions are relatively low. Now, some of that is because people like me don't move Bitcoin around very much. I mean, I use the Coinbase debit card to buy stuff, but all of that happens on Coinbase. So that doesn't show up on the actual blockchain. And I don't move Bitcoin on or off various Bitkeys very often because I just, I try not to do that. I try to keep it in cold storage, keep my Bitkeys in very safe, very difficult to get to places. And they're difficult enough to get to that I try to only move Bitcoin around when I really need to. And anyway, so all that to say, what's called low on-chain activity doesn't necessarily mean anything. The total number of people who are searching for the word Bitcoin on Google doesn't necessarily mean anything, but typically those things are a lot higher if the market is about to go a lot higher because there's just a lot of buzz. So there's amazingly little buzz in sort of the online community right now around Bitcoin. Again, for people who follow Bitcoin like me, obviously we're always talking about it. But for the general population, it's not a water cooler discussion happening right now. And obviously the more it is, the more people buy Bitcoin because they're hearing about it. So anyway, again, just to reiterate, I think there's a greater than 70% chance that we have very exciting times ahead over the next 5 or 6 months especially, but even potentially the next year. And I think there's a less than 30% chance that we have to live through sort of a brutal downturn and just suck it up and live with it for a little while we wait for the demand in the marketplace to catch up. And if we hit that, time, it's obviously a great buying opportunity for Bitcoin, but it's also painful to go through. Nobody likes doing that. Nobody likes going through a Bitcoin bear market, other than the people who are purely in buy mode. But most people are only in buy mode on Bitcoin in a bear market if it's their second bear market, because most people need to see Bitcoin recover once themselves before they trust that it will always recover again in the future. And once you've seen it once, you realize, oh, I get it. Bitcoin always does. So if you want to understand all of this, the price cycles of Bitcoin better, read Vijay Boyapati's book, The Bullish Case for Bitcoin. Bullish as in B-U-L-L-I-S-H. The Bullish Case for Bitcoin by Vijay, V-I-J-A-Y. And I'm not going to try to pronounce Boyapati, but it's Vijay Boyapati with a B as in boy. Anyway, so pick up that book. It's a fantastic book. You'll understand why Bitcoin behaves the way it does much better after reading that book, which will make your comfort level much higher with regard to Bitcoin. And anyway, let me know if you have any questions. I am here to serve. I think, the future could be quite exciting. And if not, it's going to be a prolonged buying opportunity for those that are not already 100% Bitcoin like me. So let me know if you need anything. Send me questions. I love answering questions. I'm always available. Thank you, everyone, and have a wonderful evening. Thanks.